Love isn't proven by words. Anyone can say, I love you. The real question is, does that love show up when it's inconvenient, when it costs you something, when it requires patience instead of passion, and action instead of affirmation? Words can be beautiful, but they're also easy. They roll off the tongue faster than they root themselves in truth. Real love, though, doesn't need to be performed. It's quiet, steady, and visible in the thousand moments where you could choose indifference, but choose care instead. You see it in how someone listens when you speak, not just waiting for their turn, but really absorbing what you mean. You see it in how they make you feel seen even on the days when you don't feel worthy of attention. You see it in the effort that stays consistent long after the novelty fades. That's the love that doesn't announce itself but never stops being known. We live in a world obsessed with words. We text them, post them, perform them, but rarely live them. It's easy to promise forever when everything feels right. But love isn't about who you are when it's easy. It's about who you continue to be when it's not. The late night misunderstandings, the tired arguments, the uncomfortable silences, love proves itself not by avoiding those, but by showing up through them. Love is in the tone you use when you're frustrated but still choose kindness. It's in the patience you offer when your partner isn't at their best. It's in the small acts that say, I see you, I care, and I'm still here. It's how you reach for their hand, how you remember what they said last week because it mattered to them. It's the apology that comes without ego and the forgiveness that comes without scorekeeping. When love is real, you feel safe in it. You don't need to chase reassurance because the consistency of someone's actions already answers the question. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's not something you have to keep proving to the world. It's the quiet confidence of knowing someone's heart isn't in their words, it's in their follow-through. And if you want to know what kind of love you're giving, ask yourself this. If your words disappeared tomorrow, would the people you love still feel loved by you? Would your presence alone be enough to communicate it? Because that's the test. The language of love isn't just spoken, it's demonstrated, embodied, lived. The truth is, love's most powerful moments often go unnoticed. The coffee waiting on the counter, the check-in text after a hard day, the effort to understand instead of win. Those are the ways love says I'm here. So stop measuring love by what you hear and start watching how it moves. Because when love is real, it doesn't just sound right, it feels right. Every day, in every quiet, consistent way it chooses you. Emotional availability is fluency in love's true language. You can't build real connection if your heart is always half closed, if you only let someone close enough to touch your surface, but never close enough to touch your truth. Love doesn't need perfection, it needs presence. It's not about saying the right thing. It's about being real enough to feel the wrong thing and still stay open. Emotional availability is the courage to be seen without the armor to say, this is me, not the version I think you'll like, but the human that actually exists behind the smile. Most people say they want love, but what they really want is comfort. They want to be adored without having to reveal anything that could risk rejection. But love isn't built in the comfort zone. It's built in the moments where you show the parts of you that could be misunderstood and trust that someone might stay anyway. When you hide behind emotional distance, you might protect yourself from pain, but you also protect yourself from intimacy. You can't be loved fully if you're never fully known. Emotional availability isn't about being an open book to everyone. It's about being honest with yourself first. It's noticing when you shut down, when you withdraw, when you pretend everything's fine just to avoid being vulnerable. It's realizing that love can't speak to a heart that's barricaded behind fear. The more walls you build to stay safe, the less anyone can reach you, even the ones who want to love you right. When you're emotionally available, you create space for truth. You make it safe for someone else to be honest too. You don't punish them for having feelings, and you don't turn their vulnerability into ammunition later. You listen with empathy instead of defense. You're curious about what they feel instead of judging it. That's what makes connection thrive, not the perfect date, not the romantic words, but the emotional environment you build together. Love needs access. It needs to be able to find you when you're scared, when you're sad, when you're not performing. If you only let people see your strength, they'll never know how to love your softness. And if you can't sit with your own emotions, you'll never be able to sit with someone else's. The most beautiful relationships aren't the ones that avoid conflict. They're the ones that can face it without shutting down or running away. So, if you want to speak love fluently, start by learning the language of your own emotions. Don't just say "I'm fine" when you're not. Don't hide behind distraction or sarcasm. Be brave enough to tell the truth about what you feel, and compassionate enough to listen when someone else does the same. That's where love starts to breathe. That's where understanding begins. Emotional availability is the heartbeat of real connection, because without it, love can't hear you, no matter how beautiful your words are. Connection lives in attention. You can't truly connect with someone if you're not present with them. It's not about how much time you spend together. It's about how deeply you notice each other when you do. Attention is the currency of love. When you give someone your full attention, you're saying, "You matter enough for me to stop the world for a moment and be right here with you." That's what makes people feel seen. That's what makes them feel safe. Most people listen to reply, not to understand. They're already forming their next sentence while the other person is still speaking. But love can't grow in the space where understanding doesn't exist. When you pay real attention, you hear more than words. You hear tone, silence, hesitation, emotion. You start to pick up on the truth behind what's being said. That's how connection deepens, through curiosity, through patience, through presence. The tragedy of our time is distraction. We mistake being around someone for being with them. Two people can sit next to each other and still feel miles apart because their attention is elsewhere. You can't multitask love. You can't build intimacy while scrolling, replying, half, listening. Love needs your eyes, your energy, your awareness. It's not that attention costs you anything, it's that it requires you to slow down long enough to actually see. When you really pay attention, you notice the little things that tell the story of someone's heart. The way their expression changes when they are uncomfortable. The dreams they mention quietly because they're scared of being laughed at. The effort they make that no one else seems to notice. Those small details are love's fingerprints. They remind someone that they don't have to shout to be heard. They just have to exist near you, and you'll see them anyway. Attention is also how you keep connection alive over time. It's easy to be attentive in the beginning when everything is new. But real love sustains that curiosity even after you think you already know someone. Because people change, they evolve. The person you love today isn't the same version they'll be next year. Attention is how you keep rediscovering them. It's how you remind them they're still worth being fascinated by. When you stop paying attention, love doesn't usually end dramatically, it fades quietly. You stop noticing the effort, the emotion, the need. You start assuming instead of asking, and that's when connection starts to erode. Not because the love is gone, but because the focus is. Connection doesn't demand grand gestures. It asks for presence. It asks that when someone shares a piece of themselves, you hold it with care instead of distraction. It's about showing up, not just physically, but emotionally fully tuned in. Because in the end, the deepest form of love is simply this: I see you, I hear you, I'm here. And when someone feels that, you don't need to say much. The connection speaks for itself. Your energy teaches people how loved they are. You can tell someone they matter 100 times, but if your energy says otherwise, they'll never truly believe it. The tone in your voice, the look in your eyes, the way you show up when it's inconvenient, that's what communicates love far more than any sentence ever could. People feel your energy before they process your words. They remember how it felt to be around you long after they forget what you said. Energy isn't something you can fake for long. You can smile while being distracted, nod while thinking of something else, or say I care without meaning it. But people always sense the truth. Your energy either tells them you're safe with me, or it tells them you're too much. I don't have time for you right now. Every interaction becomes a mirror reflecting the love you bring or the absence of it. Love, at its core, is about presence, the kind of attention that carries warmth, patience, and sincerity. When your energy is calm, grounded, and genuine, it becomes a safe space for others. You don't have to fix everything or say all the right things. Sometimes, your quiet energy does all the speaking. A steady presence can make someone feel understood without a single word being said. Think about how you feel around someone who's truly there with you, no rush, no hidden agenda, no pretense. Their energy gives you permission to relax. You don't have to perform. You don't have to shrink. That's the gift of loving energy. It says, I see you, and you don't need to earn my attention. That's how people learn they're valued, through the consistency of how your energy treats them. Your energy also teaches people how to treat you. If you carry calm confidence, people will learn to respect your boundaries. If you show up with kindness, they'll often respond in kind. But if your energy is restless, dismissive, or defensive, others will sense the distance even before you speak. That's why emotional awareness matters, because your energy isn't just what you say, it's what you project. You don't have to be the loudest in the room to make people feel loved. Sometimes, the softest energy leaves the strongest impression. The way you listen with your whole body, the way you remember the small details, the way you respond gently even when you're tired, those things teach love better than any declaration could. When your energy is anchored in care, people feel it. When it's scattered or guarded, they feel that too. So, before you try to say the right thing, check the energy behind it. Are you rushing through moments, or are you really present? Are you giving love or just talking about it? Because, in the end, love isn't measured in words, it's felt in the energy you bring every single day. Love is not performance, it's alignment. Connection lives in attention. You can't act your way into real intimacy. You can impress someone for a while with charm, effort, or grand gestures, but eventually truth shows up. Real love doesn't need to be performed, because it already exists in harmony between what you say, what you do, and what you feel. Alignment means your love isn't just something you talk about, it's something that naturally flows through your choices. So many people confuse love with the performance of it. They think if they say the right words, post the right photos, give the right gifts, it proves something. But love doesn't thrive on display, it thrives in congruence. When your words and your actions speak the same language, trust builds. When they don't, even the most romantic gestures feel empty. The person beside you doesn't want the show. They want to know that when you say you care, it's reflected in how you treat them, especially when no one's watching. Alignment means you love in a way that matches your values. You don't say, I want honesty, and then hide behind avoidance. You don't claim to want connection, but give your attention to everything else. It's about living in a way that makes love effortless, because it's not about trying. It's about being. When you're aligned, your love feels stable, not performative. It doesn't fluctuate with mood or convenience. It's steady because it's real, and that's where attention comes in. Connection doesn't survive on declarations. It survives on awareness. You can't love someone deeply if you're not paying attention to them. Love fades not because two people stop caring, but because they stop noticing. The conversations become shorter, the questions less curious, the eyes less present. But when you stay attentive, when you still notice the little things that make them who they are, you keep the connection alive. Attention is love's most consistent proof. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but it's powerful. It's remembering what matters to them. It's noticing when something's off, even when they say they're fine. It's being aware enough to recognize what they need before they have to ask. That's the kind of love that feels safe, that feels grounding. Because connection lives in the energy of being seen, not in the performance of being perfect. Love that's aligned doesn't try to impress, it tries to understand. It doesn't seek applause, it seeks truth. And when that truth is paired with attention, something beautiful happens. Love becomes simple again. It stops being about proving and starts being about being present. So if you want to know how strong your love is, don't look at how it looks from the outside. Look at how it feels in the quiet moments. Does your energy align with your words? Does your attention match your affection? Because love isn't a show. It's the calm consistency of two people choosing to see and be seen again and again.